What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today's video is one that I did not anticipate having to make. Essentially halfway through a 2024 season with high expectations, but today we will make the case for why the New York Jets should move on from Aaron Rodgers after this season. Now, there's a world where he comes back, and I don't know if it's the right thing, but if you were talking about what's most likely to happen, I think there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers is back next year and Woody Johnson convinces himself that this team's a head coach and coaching staff away from being competitive. I don't know if that's the way to go. Maybe there's a path to where the Jets draft a quarterback and have him sit a year behind Aaron Rodgers, who plays one more year. That's something that's also on the table. I would prefer that route rather than just like the complete run it back route, but completely blowing it up and moving on might just end up being like, if you're looking at long-term how to fix this franchise, that might be the best way to go about doing it. Today's video is powered by BetUS. Sign up using promo code YouTube150. Receive a 150% match deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. If you believe it, the Jets are 3-point favorites against the Indianapolis Colts. Fade them, ride them, whatever you want to do, you can do that at BetUS. I can't foresee myself betting on the Jets again this year. You could continue to just fade them and do things that way. If you want to bet on the NHL or NBA, you could use BetUS for that as well. If you sign up using promo code YouTube150, you can get 2 additional match deposit bonuses up to that $2,000. Those ones are at 125%. Sign up using the code and get in on the fun. Let's set the stage. The Jets are sitting at 3-7 with the 24 season a lost cause. At 3-7, it is over. There are a litany of problems with this team, from coaching issues to the players not playing up to par to general manager mistakes to ownership, like from literally the top of the top to the bottom of the bottom. It's everything. It's not just one thing. It's not just on ownership. It's not just the players. It's not just the coaching. It's just not the general manager. It's a culmination of all these things coming together and producing this absolute mess. One of the biggest decisions the Jets have to make is Aaron Rodgers in 2025. What do you do? Do you bring him back? Do you let him walk? Does he retire? Do you release him? Whatever. I think, again, that if I had to guess on what's most likely to happen, I think the Jets do bring him back. I think they're enamored by the guy. I don't know if that's what my preferred option is at this point, but I'm going to make the case today for why bringing him back is not a good decision. So let's just look at the numbers first and foremost. What he's done this year: 62.4 completion percentage, 2,258 yards, which is 225.8 yards per game, 15 touchdowns, 7 picks, an 86.8 rating. It's not horrific numbers. It's not very good numbers. He's been mostly okay, but there's a couple of red flags that are jumping up that make me very weary about continuing to double down on Aaron Rodgers. And that's one, his ability to move at 40, soon to be 41 years old. After, whether it's age or the Achilles injury, he's just not getting around very well. And then the number 2 issue is he is almost never on the same page with his wide receivers. And like Davante Adams, someone that he's had a ton of success with in this league, not on the same page with Davante Adams. Garrett Wilson, maybe the only one he's on the same page with, but there's a couple times a game where it feels like there's a miscommunication. He's coming off the field yelling, screaming, having the, looking around like what's going on. And I don't know, man, like sometimes at some point it's got to be on you a little bit. Now, the ramifications of the Jets moving on from Aaron Rodgers, it's going to cost a lot against the cap. So all these numbers coming up that I'm going to go over are all courtesy of Over the Cap. It's a really good tool. Make sure to check out their website for any cap questions you may have. So going into the 2025 season, without doing anything, the Jets currently are projected to be 15th in the NFL, in cap space. Now, that's a little bit misleading because if you just do one thing, which is move on from Devontae Adams. That frees up another $30 million, which puts them right around $80 million in cap space, which is 5th in the NHL. So they can go NFL. So they can go from, I don't know why I keep saying that. So they can go from 15th, middle of the pack, to top 5 in the NFL by just moving on from Devontae Adams. Now, here's where your issue comes in. It would if Aaron Rodgers either retires or you release him, it's going to cost you $49 million in cap space. Now, you could split it up over 2 years, and that could lower your number, which I guess if you want to do that, fine. But don't you kind of just want to rip the Band-Aid off and be done with it after 1 year? If you were to split it up, it would be $14 million in 2025, but then $35 million in 2026. And yeah, the salary cap goes up year over year, but kind of just want this one transition year and then to be really like going for it again. I think one of the biggest misconceptions that a lot of Jet fans have is that these rebuilds have to take like 5 years to do. It's not the case anymore. We see teams, have transition years and then get back to being competitive. And if you draft well and plan well and have the right people in here to do the operations, then it's a lot easier and you're much more likely to turn it around. And I don't know. I don't think the Jets have to be like, all right, we're going to hire a new GM and new coach and let's wait 6 years until they figure it out. Like that's not how the NFL is supposed to work. That's how it works for the Jets. But for the rest of the league, there's a lot of parity in this league. Teams who have down years 1 year bounce back and are better the next year. And for me, like, can you split it up and be like, all right, $14 million in 2025, 2026 is going to be horrible. We'll throw on the $35 million that year. You could do it that way. But like I said, man, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, do the $49 million cap hit in year 1 in 2025. Now, the Jets' dead cap hit in 2025 for not only Rodgers, but some of their other guys would be rough. I mean, there's no denying it, but we've seen teams actually this year, the number 1 and number 2 team in the league in dead cap space is the Denver Broncos and Minnesota Vikings. And both teams are competitive. Both teams are in a playoff spot. And look at the Broncos and what they did with Russell Wilson. They admitted their mistake. They took their lumps with him. They cut bait. They traded him. I guess they released him, right? They didn't trade him. And it seemed to work out for the better for them. They are better off doing that than trying to shoehorn Russell Wilson on that roster and try to make it better. And that's basically what my thought here for the Jets is. Don't try to double down on a mistake. I don't blame them for trying to go that route and seeing if it would work. There's, numerous examples that we've gone over the years of teams having success with quarterbacks. I mean, with Brett Favre, it didn't work for the Jets, but the next year he goes to the NFC Championship game with the Vikings. Peyton Manning wins a championship with the Broncos and is good with them for 4 years. Tom Brady wins a championship with the Buccaneers a few years later. Matt Stafford and what he was able to do. Like, again, it's just like you shrug your shoulders because you see like all these teams get their veteran quarterbacks in their mid to late 30s, sometimes 40s, and they have their success. But the Jets do it and it just blows up in their face. And instead of trying to double down on that blow up in your face, maybe now's the time to use this as a transition. Go into 2025 with Tyrod Taylor, a rookie quarterback, and Jordan Travis as your quarterback room. Let the new general manager and head coach pick their guy in the draft. And maybe there's hope that you could just sit him behind Tyrod Taylor for, half a season, a full season, and hope to develop your quarterback that way, rather than throwing the quarterback into the mix, into the fire in year 1 and being like, all right, be our savior right out of the gate. Now, who that guy is, I don't know. Are you a Cam Ward guy? Are you a Shadur Sanders guy? Quinn Ewers? Like Jalen Milroe? Like who that guy is going to be? I don't really know. It's not the greatest quarterback class on paper right now. Sometimes that doesn't matter. I mean, the last 2 times the Jets took quarterbacks, 2018 draft class was pretty hyped up as a quarterback class. Didn't work out for the Jets. 2022, pretty hyped up for a quarterback class. Jets take one, or 2021 rather, didn't work out. So maybe it's better that it's not an overhyped quarterback class and you can still find your guy. It's the NFL. It's weird. Sometimes people we don't expect to be good in the NFL, they have it and it works. Other times, someone you think who's can't miss comes into the league and stinks. So it sucks that we're here, and I really hate making this video. I don't enjoy this. I'd much rather be talking about playoff seeding and AFC race and division and all that stuff. But instead, at 3-7, it's an eye on the future, just like always with this team. Guys, that'll do it for me. Let me know in the comments if you want Aaron Rodgers back in 2025 or if you agree with this video and don't want him back in 2025. Let me know. I'm Matt. I'll catch you next time.